They're good. They're strong. They're well coached. I will say that.
Bowtie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time.
Good afternoon and welcome to a special edition of the Danny Britt Show. I'm Kevin Thomas, defensive coordinator Galen Houston. Now joining us here for this Thursday edition from Bowtie Barbecue, just off of Eisenhower and Waters here on this Thursday ahead of round two of the state playoffs as LaGrange comes to town coming up on Friday evening. And again, Bowtie Barbecue, a great place to come for lunch, dinner. Set up your tailgate menu here as well. And Thanksgiving, you can order ahead for your Thanksgiving menu right here from Bowtie Barbecue. But this week, we are joined by Coach Houston, defensive coordinator for BC. Coach, appreciate you filling in and joining us. And again, Coach Britt talks about it all the time with the team you guys expect to be playing at this time of year, and I know that's something that carries over the entire program. And here you are a week before Thanksgiving, and you expect to be playing on Thanksgiving. But talk about the mindset of this team as you've seen it kind of develop here over this 2023 football season.
The mindset of our team is just continue to improve as the season goes on. I feel like just started off, we felt like we've had some practices in the summer that end up being very competitive, highly competitive between offense and defense. We knew we would have an extremely talented team. So really it was about just focusing on the strengths and improving the current talent and a lot of the experience that we already have with the guys in the building. And then basically developing our young guys and just figuring out who would be the guys that we can depend on and count on as the season goes on. And we've just been able to establish depth, been able to improve on that experience. And just as the season continues to go on and we get around this time, our kids just kind of get it. And they just know what to expect. They know the practices, and they're used to this type of atmosphere and playing in big-time environments. So it's great for us.
And you guys are coming off of 2 shutouts, and I know the end of the season against Islands, they finished 0-10. You maybe expected that a little bit, but first round of playoffs, pitched a shutout, and I've told Coach Britt, I said, kind of to me, more impressive is the fact that while you are pitching shutouts, you're putting in second unit guys that don't play a lot, and you're still, I think, held Islands without a first down, held last week. Only crossed a 50 on you twice, and that's with you guys going out there at times, playing second and third unit guys that are able to step in and immediately play at a high level.
Well, I think that's just a testament to our kids. The way we practice is we want to make sure we continue to build depth during the season. So I make it a point to let kids know if whatever score is on that scoreboard, we're expecting to be there at the end. And if you're put in the game, we believe in you. You're in there for a reason. Go out and play and make plays and play to the best of your ability. There's still a standard and expectations that we have at BC as far as defensively and as far as the team. And our kids know what the standard is, and they want to perform well. And so we try to create a lot of competition throughout practices each week, whether it's just guys that are on defense, guys that are second team players, third team players, and actually get those guys as much experience and time as we can. So when they get into games, they're not just afraid of the moment. They expect to make plays and they expect to do well.
And it seems like you've had a lot of ability to do that and lean on some guys in those opportunities that have come out. I know Zach Maxwell missed some time. You had to roll some guys who maybe didn't spend as much time on the defense, and you guys seemingly didn't miss too much of a beat over there. Talk about how you're able to roll guys and kind of adapt on the fly when certain guys aren't able to go.
Well, I think it's a testament to the way we kind of do things in our program. Offensively and defensively, we know we have those crossover guys that we have. And so there's expectations where, you're going to play some offense, play some defense. It's another way to help with versatility and recruitment as far as longer down the road when kids get into that time or where they'll be recruited into college and things like that. But it also builds depth for us as far as offense and defense to where when kids are going both ways and practicing at different positions, it allows them to have seamless transitions on both sides of the ball. So unfortunately, when Zach went out, he was probably one guy, just the way our defense is structured, like, hey, if Zach goes down, we ought to find some answers to that. And so him going down was not something that we wanted, but I think it ended up being something that was kind of like a blessing in disguise because it enabled us to establish more depth, play more guys, and so now we have guys with multiple game experience that if they're out there on defense, they know what we're doing, and they can go out there and make plays and be successful, and we're comfortable and trust them being out there to make plays.
Galen Houston, defensive coordinator, joining us here on the Danny Britt Show, and just from your standpoint, how fun is it to coach that defensive line? Those guys, you've seen them week in, week out, and guys that seemingly, I mean, motors don't quit on those guys. And I know the last 3 or 4 games, you just see them flying around, dominating at the line of scrimmage. How fun has it been to coach this specific group of guys up front? Your Tank Thomas, Third Scroggins, Arion Guyton's really played well at times. How much fun are you having watching those guys?
A lot of fun. It's a joy to coach those guys. Guys on our front seven is I can't say enough great things about them. It's hard to really put it into words. The amount of people that, whether my parents or classmates or people that say, man, that front seven is amazing. Starts with Jeremiah in the middle, the anchor of our defense for 3 years. Able to play a selfless position and do it at a high level, getting double teamed a lot. Our seniors, Wilkes Albert and Bryce Baker, they're kind of like my babies because I've had them since they were freshmen, and they were able to play a lot of time. So the experience of having those guys in the middle and filtering out to guys like Arion and bringing in a young guy like Larson, who's a sophomore, who's a leader for us now and going to be a future star player on the Benedictine defense. Third Strongers is amazing. Cameron Cody, are 2 studs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And man, I'm so glad that Arion is really having the season and producing and doing the things that he's been doing, because it was kind of like a role that we kind of had to talk him into it. He kind of had to fill himself out, and he's been doing an amazing job for us. A guy like Andrew Trammell, who's come in as a third string guy that we've established, and Barry Green, who sometimes will come in for Bryce Baker. So it's really a lot of guys that contribute to that front seven unit. They take pride in playing at a high level, and it's a fun defense for them to play in. They get to do a lot of things, whether it's blitz, whether it's run stunts, twists, and so we kind of mix and match so it enables us to be versatile, and those guys can do a lot of things to best fit their skill set.
When you're setting up the game plan, how much confidence do you have in those guys? I've talked about this with Coach Britt a lot. I mean, some of these guys, depending on how this season obviously ends up, you're talking mid-50s in number of games they've played in high school.
Yes.
How confident are you with those guys, just knowing that, hey, I've had some experienced teams before, but this team has played a bunch of football for you?
Well, that's some things that I have to remind myself and remind a lot of people is many of those guys on that defense have played so many games. I'm not really worried about the moment being too big or the games being too big, because these guys have played in a lot of big time moments. We've been tied at the half and been able to come out and make adjustments. We've been up big and maybe teams have come back and had to make stops in the end of games for various reasons. Or we've been down by 14 and been able to come back and make stops. So there's not an atmosphere or a game situation or experience that many of these kids have not been in. I never am worried about the moment really being too big. Just sometimes we know that we're going to get a lot of things that we haven't seen throughout the week and a lot of nuances from offenses that we're going to have to adjust to. Sometimes we need to just settle down, play football, rely on our fundamentals, our techniques, our training, preparation, and just go out there and have fun and make plays.
How has that been preparing week in and week out? Coach Britt says, look, we're going to get stuff thrown at us every week that you wouldn't see because nobody has anything to lose when they play us. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at us. I mean, you've seen fake punts deep inside of the opponent's territory. Westminster went triple or single wing on you. You've seen the power run game. You've seen the spread. You guys have seen about any and everything somebody could possibly throw at you. What has that been like preparing week in and week out and say, what's it going to be this week that somebody tries to get over on us?
Well, I think the one thing you have to focus on is our guys and what we do, and making sure that we communicate and everything we do is at a high level. So offenses can come in and really do anything, but sometimes it's about, hey, can we line up in our base defense and can we make the adjustments, the checks and stops and be able to get off the field and get our offense the ball. And so we kind of stick to our characteristics and our culture. But yeah, we understand that when we play teams, they're going to be on the GHSA Daily as probably team of the week if they beat us. And so I think our kids take pride in that. We try to make sure that they don't look at it as pressure, but it's mainly just expectations. Here's what it is. You know, whether it's the game streak or whether it's who we are with the multiple championships in a row, that's anything we can't worry about. This is a new team. We have high expectations of them. We believe in them, and they have high expectations themselves. You know, they understand what it means to play on a Benedictine Cadets football team, and they relish in that, and they got to have fun with it and not let it bog them down and kind of be worried when we don't beat teams by 50 or if we have close wins. Like a win is a win. Cherish these moments together because next year will be an entirely different new team, and I think our kids enjoy that.
Well, let's look ahead to tomorrow night. LaGrange comes to town. Obviously, they have to come all the way across the state, but they just got a young man back who's been out for them all year, had a big game last week in the playoffs. What are you expecting LaGrange to kind of bring to the table as you guys look at him from a defensive standpoint?
LaGrange is a very well-coached team. Coach Napier is offensive-minded coach, so they do a lot of different things on offense that you have to prepare for. They're very multiple. We have them at 56% run versus pass, so they're balanced offense. A lot of playmakers, whether it's Kemp at quarterback, Malachi Render Fannin that you're talking about that's coming back, but Keys is a good running back. Barlow is good. They'll bring in Burks at H-back. And I like Stephen Hill as a big-time playmaker for him on the outside. So and then you got Kemp's brother that plays tight end. So they have a lot of athletes, and they do a lot of things on offense that has been a challenge for us to actually communicate and prepare for. But can't say enough good things about our opponent and what they're bringing to the table because my parents are from Carrollton, so I know a lot about LaGrange and Troup County and Callaway. It's a lot of good football played there, and so LaGrange will be ready. And they have they're a great program, always have been a legendary program in the state of Georgia, and so we're prepared for it.
And I think there's programs, as you said, around the state where it doesn't matter kind of what the record is. You're part of that program. I think BC is certainly that, but you talk about, Valdosta, LaGrange. There's just certain programs around the state where it doesn't matter what year it is. They're in that program, and the expectation is we're going to play well and go out and compete to win. And I think LaGrange is certainly one of those that you're going to see tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
You look at this playoff run for you guys, and I want to go back because this, I think, first time I had a chance to talk to you in this setting since that happened. But as a defensive coach, I know what I was feeling up in the booth last year at the state championship game. But as a defensive coach, to see your guys win on first, second, third, and fourth down from 1 yard out in a state championship, man, it doesn't get that's every possible talking point line you could think of right there. Hey, this is why we do the 10 extra push-ups. This is why we do it, so we can stop a team from 1 yard with a state championship game. From your standpoint as a defensive guy, I mean, I can't imagine any prouder moment than, hey, you're tired, it's cold, it's drizzly, it's the state championship, and here's a team that's a power run game from the 1 yard line, and they potentially get 4 cracks at it, which they did, and they didn't get in.
Correct. It's definitely one of my proudest moments as a coach. I smile every time I think about it, if somebody brings it up. It was just an electric moment. It's hard to really put in the words just the amount of enthusiasm and just happy, not only for that moment, but for that to win the game. You just don't see that happen, right? Whether it's in Little League, middle school, high school, college, the NFL, to be in that moment and to share that experience with our guys. I'm just happy that they believed in each other, were able to execute it and make it happen. We had a lot of seniors on that group that were there. I remember telling Manny before that week, Troup County wasn't really a week that was built for him, but with Cedartown the next week, that, hey, man, when we knew we were playing in that game, like, man, this is an opportunity where you're going to have a lot of opportunities to play and make a lot of plays. We're going to need you. We put in a heavy formation for situations like that in case we were struggling with stopping the run. or we needed a short down goal line defense. And so it was just great to see our guys execute, still believe that we can win the game, and go out there and make it happen. And so it was special, and it's a legendary moment for not just Georgia high school football, but for Benedictine football especially.
And how much do you think that has pervaded this team this year? Because Coach Britt has talked about it, where he goes, a lot of times you'll see teams where you were down 14-0 to Ware County, and everybody's going, uh-oh, and you look on the sideline, and he goes, the kids are just like, it's okay, we're going to be fine. And how much of that do you think has carried through with this bunch of seniors and juniors who've played a lot of football? Are like, look, we've been through the battles, we're not going to panic, we're just next play. And I know that's hard to see from 16, 17, 18-year-old kids sometimes.
Correct. Well, I think it just gives our program and our kids just a level of confidence that no matter the moment or situation, that they're going to rally, believe in one another, and go out and make plays. Somebody is going to make the play or make it happen. You know, it's not a matter of who or where, but just when. It's going to happen. Let's just keep throwing darts at the board, keep knocking on wood, and eventually, you know, keep pounding the glass, and eventually it'll break. You know, and I think that's kind of the mindset that our kids have. We believe we established that early in the summer with we had a lot of goal line stops and things in practice, and then we had a lot of high intense practices where the offense would run the ball in and score on us, and created a high level of intensity that we're going to play football a certain way. We're going to be physical. We're going to be intelligent. We're going to be disciplined. Rely on the core values that Coach Britt has established with our team. And offensively and defensively, man, we just believe that we're going to continue to prepare and play at a high level to where our kids are going to have confidence that no matter the circumstance, we're going to go out there and find a way to win.
And finally, how cool is this for you doing it at BC and being able to be a part of this, coaching these young men into what has been a tremendous 4 or 5 year stretch of BC football for sure?
Well, it's just special to graduate from BC and be able to have the impact that I've had as an educator, as a coach, to now have my son attending BC and playing football. It's just surreal for me. I never envisioned myself being here or being in this moment and having these experiences. And so I think it's always special when you can go back to your alma mater and able to just be a small piece of the success that we've had since I've been here, and just to see us be successful, period, is just, it's special. That's the only way I can say it. It's extremely rewarding. I love coming to work. I love working with our kids, and I've always been proud to be a Benedictine cadet, and I will continue to do so. And it just to see those guys and share the experiences, and they know that you walk those halls. You've been a member of that program. You've gone off to play college football. And so they already have a level of buy-in because they just respect the brotherhood and understand, like, hey, Coach Houston is not going to steer you wrong. He may get on you. You're not going to always like what he says, because I will challenge them and be demanding of them, but they know I love them, and they know I care about them, our school, and our program tremendously.
Coach Galen Houston joining us here on the Danny Britt Show. LaGrange coming in tomorrow. We'll come back. We'll chat with Jack Holland, athletic director at BC, right here on the Danny Britt Show, live from Bowtie Barbecue.
Bowtie Barbecue has always been a work of passion. It takes time, skill, and a blend of perfect temperature, wood, smoke, and meats. We just took it up a notch. Taste the passion. Bowtie Barbecue, 6724 Waters Avenue, Savannah.
Okay. You got it? You know it?
Yeah, no, I don't, but I'm going to read it.
Have I prepared enough? There'll be unexpected turns. When things get tough, I need to stick to the game plan. No regrets. I'm ready. Are you? Get ready. Contact Abel's Iron Moore & Associates today and see why they are different. Because nobody ever wishes they'd saved less for retirement.
Danny Britt Show live at Bowtie Barbecue on Waters, just off of Eisenhower, as we look ahead to LaGrange coming up tomorrow night. And joining us here, Athletic Director Jack Holland, a man whose work is never done there at BC. And Coach, you got a home playoff game, and I know a lot of work goes into these things, but you have told me in the past, like, getting ready for a home playoff game, it's a big experience, especially when the state's involved. But how big is it to have yet another opportunity to stay in Savannah and continue football here?
Yeah, man, it's fantastic. Coach Britt has raised the level of success and expectations here, where everybody just expects us to not only have a home playoff game, but multiple home playoff games. And we're lucky enough to have a great facility at Chatham County Memorial Stadium that not only is a great place to watch a high school football game, but with the support of our incredible fan base, alumni, supporters, it makes it a really difficult place to play. And when we fill that place up, which it should be tomorrow night, it definitely gives us a home field advantage. And it's just great for the BC community. It's somewhat of a mini reunion for people that come back, and, gentlemen and their wives and kids that don't necessarily have a connection to this year's BC team. They're going to be out there pulling for the Cadets as hard as anyone. So, yeah, we're excited about tomorrow night. It should be a great atmosphere, a really good LaGrange team coming to town. And I know you and Coach Houston talked about the tradition and the excellence of that program. So to play a team like LaGrange, who we haven't played in 27 years, which just so happened to be one of the best wins in school history when we went to LaGrange in 1996. But to have them come to Savannah, they're going to have great support. They're going to have a great band. They're going to have a great team, great coaching staff. Looking forward to tomorrow night for sure.
And, of course, nobody wants to look ahead in sports. You have to. But you talk about the expectations of the program and winning, and people think, hey, it's just it's something that's going to happen. I mean, you obviously have to plan of, hey, there's going to be 4 more playoff games, counting tomorrow night. But you look at the level of the program that it's been to. How rewarding has that been to not only say, well, hey, I'm part of the vision of this thing athletically, but you have to realistically plan that this thing is going to go X, Y. I mean, some people say, yeah, we might make it there, but realistically say that we expect there's going to be several more weeks of football, and what all goes into that from your standpoint of just saying, look, we're going to be playing for a while here.
Yeah, I absolutely hate it. I'm pretty superstitious, more so than anyone should be. So I hate making plans for something that might not happen. Fortunately enough, the last 2 football seasons, everything that we've had to do a month or so in advance for those later rounds of the playoffs have come to fruition. And I've said it before, but Susan Johnson, who's our director of football operations, she handles so much of that stuff for our football staff, our players, and myself. It makes my life a whole lot easier. But yeah, it's just getting transportation in line, getting potential hotel rooms in place, getting meals planned for pregame meals for the team, things like that. All the things that every team has to do. But, Coach Britt's adamant about making sure we do it the first-class way in everything we do. So that goes into account when we're planning for hotels and travel and buses and everything else that goes along with it. So, yeah, it does take a little bit of time, a little bit of effort, but we have such a great team at BC, not just our coaching staff, but like I said, Susan Johnson and people in our advancement office, and a number of people that help me from week to week, where it's not that taxing of a chore. And obviously, we hope that everything we've been planning the last couple of weeks for the next month is something that we have to act on here over the next 2 or 3 weeks. But it all starts tomorrow night.
And again, I know we've talked about there's a vision for the athletic department for excellence, for competing in everything that you do and kind of upholding those values, as you said. And I was joking with somebody earlier before the show. I said, you guys have literally won the region championship and everything, every sport, and now you're bringing over the Raider team won a national championship. Just talk about being over this time in athletics, and obviously you just finished up 2 fall seasons, football still going, wrestling, basketball, of which you guys expect to compete, are getting kicked up. Just being over an athletic department where there doesn't seem to be a weak link right now in terms of competing. every team you run out there, you expect to compete at a very high level.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I think each program somewhat feeds off the other. one program experiences a great deal of success, and the other programs and coaches and players are happy for those programs, but it also pushes them a little bit. Our spring sports are doing, captain-led workouts here in the fall, and they see the success that the Raider team in cross country and football and sports shooting have. They don't want to be the program or the team or the group of guys or the group of seniors that doesn't reach the expectations that they have set for themselves. And, we've been very fortunate, well before I got here, to have some great coaches in place that had a idea of where they wanted their program to be, how to get there. And it can turn really quick, if we don't have the right leadership amongst the team and the right attitude that has become pretty normal at BC, then it can turn. But right now, it's been a phenomenal fall. Football obviously gets a lot of the attention locally, but, sports shooting, winning another GIAA state championship and having the overall number one shooter in Mills Hollis, who's only a sophomore. And then the Raider team, I know we've talked about it before at halftime of games and things like that. Just an incredible program with a great group of young men. And they won every championship they could this year, the region championship, the state championship, and then go up to Kentucky a couple of weeks ago and bring home a national championship trophy. And then cross country. I don't know of any of our programs that might have a brighter future than cross country. They finished 11th at the Quad A state meet, which I know those guys are probably hoping for a top 10 finish. But we only lose one senior. We have pretty much all of our best runners back. John Dotson finished 8th overall in the Quad A meet, which is an incredible accomplishment for somebody on the coast. But yeah, it's just been a great fall, and hats off to our coaches, obviously, but the young men, there's not a secret, magic trick that you play just to have that success. Our coaches ask a lot of our young men, and they're willing and able to much time and effort to make this all happen.
We've had a busy couple from the competition field. I want you to kind of talk about that because it's been reclassification, it's been appeals, it's been this, it's been that. Obviously there's a lot of folks around the state maybe not necessarily happy with the language that was put out there to say, hey, we want to put 3A private schools in 3A and have them play their own separate championship and this and that. And you guys elected to play up to 4A, and that was granted. But what all went into that? And just, I'm sure you're glad it's over with at this point, but what all went into that? And just give us kind of your inside thoughts on how you guys elected to stay at 4A and what was kind of the internal discussions there.
Yeah, first of all, I don't envy the GHSA, having to go through this process every 2 years. It is definitely time consuming, and there's really not a perfect answer to any of it. But as we sat down and kind of looked, and a lot of it is guessing. Like who's going to be in which classification, then when that happens, who's going to be in what region. So at the end of the day, you really can't worry about what other people are doing. You have to kind of think about what's best for your school. And for us, looking at some of the local regional rivalries we've developed the last couple of years with Wayne County and Ware County. They were placed in 4A. New Hampstead, who has really become a prominent athletic program in the Savannah area. We kind of just said, okay, that's an appealing possible region for us in 4A. And then talking to all of our coaches, the general sentiment was we want to play the best there is to offer. And that's a local level, and that's a region level, and then, of course, at the state level. And for us, we wanted to play the best of the best in the state. That's private. That's public. We wanted to play some of the bigger schools that are going to have 5,000 people at their games. They're going to have marching bands with 150 people in it and play in those environments that we've become accustomed to the last couple of years. So for us, it really was a no-brainer for us to ask to play to 4A, which we were granted. Now, at the time when that happened, which we were all 100% behind, we had absolutely no idea what the region would look like in 4A. And, with Wayne County, Ware County, and New Hampstead, we expected that. And then the GHSA threw in Perry High School and Warner Robins, which has been two of the strongest athletic programs the last few years. And not only that, it's over 2.5 hours away. But they are going to be in our region next year. And I was actually meeting with the football coaches from our new region this morning about scheduling for next year. And one of the things that the Ware County head coach, Coach Strickland, said is, we are super excited to be in this region, but we're not happy about it. And I think that was a good way to put it because it's going to be a great, great atmosphere anytime we play any of those schools in sports with great support, great resources. but it is going to be tremendously difficult. And I can't speak for BC 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, but I can't imagine there's been a tougher athletic region that Benedictine's been a part of. So that'll be a new endeavor next year. But, man, we're really excited to get in there and compete with some of the best people in the state. And then when that's over, hopefully qualify for state playoffs and keep moving forward.
Yeah, football-wise, it looks very tough. But what people don't see is obviously non-region games and other sports where the state, as you said, this is where it gets difficult, limits how far you can go on a school night. Are you talking, basketball, baseball, soccer, some of that stuff, Friday, Saturdays, things like that we've seen in the past where that's just what you have to do to make it work.
Yeah, travel is always a big part of the equation. And for a long time at BC, it was, okay, where are we going in Savannah this week? When I was a student at BC, we'd have a couple of games out of town, but almost everything else was played here in town. But, travel is going to be a little different, and it's something we're going to have to embrace. And, hopefully our followers and supporters will as well.
And again, a fantastic athletic region as you get that's going into effect. Next year, you will do that. And again, you look at LaGrange coming in tomorrow night. Tell folks any of the pertinent information ahead of tomorrow night's games. I know the deeper you get into the playoffs, the state kind of dictates more of how things flow. But tomorrow night, what's kind of the general consensus on fans coming to the game?
Yeah, all tickets are sold via GoFan. There are no cash tickets, and that's been pretty much normal for us now for all home games. But all tickets are GoFan. There are no passes accepted, no BCAA membership cards. Only GHSA passes are accepted. We try to encourage everybody to get there a little early so it doesn't halt the entrance process, because I know a lot of people like to be a part of the tailgate party, right, which we're always happy to see. But yeah, try to make your way into the game, not only to avoid the long lines, but also to be in there when the team runs out and be there to show the support, because we're going to need our home crowd. There's no doubt. To play a team like LaGrange, we have the benefit of playing at home. We need to take advantage of it. Our kids deserve that support. So get there early, buy your tickets online ahead of time, and be ready to make some noise when you get in your seat.
And you've been around BC for quite some time. The amount of young men that are going to get the opportunity to play at the next level off this team is quite fantastic as well. And that's got to feel good, just not only as an alumnus but as an administrator in the program, to say, hey, we're also We're preaching excellence and teaching excellence and expecting excellence, and it's paying off for these guys in opportunities to go to the next level.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, that's probably been, other than the success in the region and state championships the football program has brought to the table the last decade, is one, we have kids that are getting those offers and getting those opportunities to continue their football and athletic careers. But what they do when they get there is really a testament to what our coaching staff is doing with them for the 4 years while they're at BC. We've had a number of young men that have gone all over the country that have played high-level college football and have done extraordinarily well once they've gotten there. And normally when they come back and they'll work out at BC in the offseason and things like that, they said the biggest thing that we had when we got to our school and our program is it was not overwhelming at all. We were ready. We were ready for the challenges of practice. We were ready for what happens in the weight room, the conditioning. They were not overwhelmed at all. They were ready to compete from day one. So, yeah, we got so many young men out there playing college football right now. And this what we have right now, you're going to see a lot of other guys playing Division I football in the coming years. And as an alum, as a former player, as a person that works at BC, I don't know if there's many things better than that DNR succeed at the level.
Jack Holland joining us here on the Danny Britt Show. I know normally we do the scouting report. We did that kind of with Coach Houston, but brought to you by Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates. And what you have for us?
Yeah, they've been great supporters of BC football for quite some time now. But as we get to the end of the year, Abel Iannone Moore and Associates is there to help you answer any questions or plan for 2024. Contact them to get the answers you need. That's Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates.
And again, tomorrow night, 7:30 kickoff. We'll have it for you on watchbcsports.com as LaGrange comes to town to take on BC. Appreciate Galen Houston, defensive coordinator, joining us, filling in for Coach Britt today, and Jack Holland, AD, for filling in for Coach Britt today as well. Enjoyed the conversation as always, and we will see you tomorrow night from Memorial Stadium for BC and LaGrange here on watchbcsports.com.